Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me, as a participant on this committee, as well as being a committee member on the General Plan Advisory Committee, I think that this is an excellent resource for our Economic Development Department to use as a educational and marketing tool for the community. I also think other business organizations and the Planning Commission could benefit from this as kind of not law per se, not an ordinance, not, has to be done just so, but excellent guidelines are set, and realistic goals can be achieved out of this document here. And what I got out of participating on this committee was a clear understanding that the city needs to set some realistic goals to obtain the balanced development that we need in that community. I think this, as a resource, does just that. And I don't believe that the report pokes at any businesses in particular, but addresses the stigma that Dixon has been labeled with as an anti-business community. So I think that addresses those concerns for the Northeast Quadrant, and I hope, being a committee member involved with this document, as well as the general plan, that the council would take hold of this document and implement it as an excellent resource. And I hope that the General Plan Advisory Committee could also use this as a resource as well when discussing in the future general plan for the Northeast Quadrant. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members in the audience wishing to speak on this? Seeing none, I'll now close the public hearing, and it now comes back up to council. Just a couple of things I want to mention before we continue our discussion. First of all, the document that we have before us, it needs to be said that this is a working document. This is not something that's carved in stone. It's similar to our general plan. It's a working document, and it begins the footprint, or it provides a footprint in which we then can move forward. So while I understand the concerns of Mr. Dreck, again, it's a beginning. So and I think we've made an excellent start on that beginning, and the people who participated in that, the citizens committees and staff, are to be commended. And I also want to talk about the Northeast Quadrant improvement recommendations. Yes, there was talk of forming a CFD, and we all know the bond market is in the toilet. That's something that's not going to happen for a very long time. So what I'm seeing now, and I participated in a couple of meetings involving the landowners of the Northeast Quadrant, our city manager, our city engineer, Mark Heckey, our economic development director, and David Dowswell, our community development director. And I'm seeing a movement on both sides, from the city as well as those private property owners, in terms of a willingness to come together and to formulate a partnership that is workable, so that we can get water out there, and so that we can start moving forward with the infrastructure that is desperately needed. So I'm encouraged by that. That doesn't mean that this is all going to be resolved in the next week or two, but we are much farther along now than we were this time last year, and to me that's a major improvement and a major step forward. And I foresee that those continued discussions and working together in terms of coming up with a fair share per acre is a realistic and attainable goal in the very near future. So having said that, I'll turn it over to council and let them make their comments.
I did want to say, and this may be a little over precautious, but I did just take a ethics course that I do work in Gymboree. I receive income from them, so that is in Northeast Quadrant, but I did talk to Michael Dean, and he did say that I don't have to recuse myself from this. It's not a conflict or anything like that, and I just wanted you to be aware for people who knew or didn't know that I do work in that area. So.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I'm impressed with the fact that we have a document that we can move forward on. It is a document that is a living document. I don't think it, like you said earlier, Mayor, that it's not something that's carved in stone, but it sounds to me like it helps us get ready for the the issues that are the opportunities that present to us here very, very soon, I think. If we're not ready, we don't have these documents prepared and plans prepared, we're going to be passed over. And I do agree with most of the statements that were presented in the presentation. And I appreciate all the work the committee's had to do over the time that they've been developing this. It amazes me how complicated all of this is, and I do understand the developers' concerns about having predisposed ideas about how things should work. I certainly don't feel that I'm predisposed to anything. I'm looking forward to seeing this happen and to provide jobs for our community and to have green opportunities to associate ourselves with the University of California in Davis and their knowledge and assistance that could be very advantageous to us. I'm also interested in these federal grants, mostly because I don't think the state has any money. I think what we're going to get is the money coming back from what the president is now proposing as projects that can move forward. It sounds like we have people that are ready to do that, and this document is just that. It's a document that we can continue to work on and look at and make sure that it provides the direction that we're looking at.
Okay. Going down the row, any other comments or questions from the council? Okay, it's back in our hands then. Hearing no further comments, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution accepting the Dixon Economic Development Strategy and Northeast Quadrant Action Plan, final report for the Community Development Block Grant, Planning and Technical Assistance.
I did have a question, really quick, just thinking about it. In regards to the portions that Michael Drack brought to our attention in there, were we going to do anything about redacting those, or does it really matter?
Well, I think it's like the general plan. You know, it is a working document, and I think, as Mrs. Wing pointed out, it is a perception, perhaps more in the business community than it is in the actual citizens. I think every project should be looked at based upon its merits and not because of its size or whatever. And I think, my opinion is I don't think we have to go back and do that. I think, you know, that with Mark and all the people that are involved with this, we're going to go out and continue to market. And as Ms. Person said, you know, we need to continue in that effort and get our stuff ready to go. Any other questions?
This is just a tool to get free money, evidently. That's what it impresses me as being.
Well, that may be your impression, yeah. And I understand where you're coming from.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
So let's
okay.
just go ahead and
All right.
take care of
So, do I hear a motion?
I'll also move.
I'll second.
It's been moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilmember Koppas. This is a resolution, so it does require no roll call vote? Okay,
Or no, it's a resolution.
all right.
Ordinance resolution.
Any questions, discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mark.